in this episode of Miss Geek. Yep, the BITX40 is done. And we're getting some wattage out. Looking like, about 5 watts if we really say something to it. Ooh, yeah, I'm liking it. Considering that mostly what I do is digital, that'll work beautifully. So let's take a look at it. All right, so I've got the BITX40 sitting here on the bench, and it's pretty well done as far as the hardware goes. Obviously, it needs to be put into a case, but that's a minor detail. Got the low-pass filter on the board here with an RG174 cable going to the main board, and then the PA output is going underneath, going to the switched switch here, the PA switch for the PTT relay rather. It switches in the amplifier and also turns the power on for the amplifier. And this amplifier has to stay powered on all the time. And so it's got cables going directly to 12 volts here, but it's also got this guy here. Because what it does is the BITX40 was originally 12 volts to push to talk. This requires grounding out the push to the TX pad here. So when you ground that out, it activates, and of course you don't want to activate it all the time. So this little board, basically when it gets 12 volts, it grounds out the push to talk, or the TX pad. So that's really good. That works nicely. And then of course we've got the QRP Labs bandpass filter, the 4-to-1 transformer to take it from 200 ohms down to 50, so I can use this. And then over here, we've got the 2N2219A, but the schematic calls for a 2.2 k ohm biasing resistor. However, I found that I got very little output with that, so I decreased that first to 1.1 k ohm, and then to 500 ohm for 510, and then finally a 300 ohm. And I'm getting consistently 10 watts out with a test tone, me going ooh into the into the microphone. And I did test it on the air. In fact, I was able to get a recording of myself calling CQ from a Utah SDR, probably about 500 or 600 miles away. So I know it's working. Wasn't able to make any contacts, but I don't really expect to make voice contacts just by calling CQ. It's actually never worked for me. I suppose, with enough patience, I could, but, during contests, definitely, but just during, regular everyday radio, probably not. So, I still have work to do on the software. The software is not ready for prime time. That'll be a fun project on its own, but, I think this is pretty well finished, and it's going to stay on 40 meters. And I also moved the IF to 11.592. So that was the other modification is I changed the IF frequency, and that gets rid of the birdie at 7200, which is really nice, and gets rid of a couple of birdies actually. So thanks for watching, and for those of you who have been sticking with me through this, I sure do appreciate it. Many of you know this is a very important project for me. My wife gifted me this radio in 2017. And I've learned everything I know about radio. Well, not everything, but I've learned a significant amount of what I know about radio from tearing this thing apart and fixing it, breaking it, and fixing it again. And really, that's what this is, too. The PA broke, and I couldn't figure it out. When I was tearing it apart, I figured out that one of the transformers had a broken wire. But I wouldn't have known that without tearing it apart, because it was really subtle. So anyway, this was my way of fixing it, was to modify the heck out of it. Anyway, so yeah, this is really important to me. It was a gift from my wife. She always wanted to know that it was working, actually. She took interest in that because it was a gift. If I told her that I broke it, she's like, "You broke my gift?" She was very funny about that. Not in a good way, in a very good way. But followers of my channel will know that she passed away in February. And so it was important for me to honor her memory by getting this working. And it's a small thing. It wouldn't have really mattered to her in the long run, but it matters to me. So thanks for all the help I've received online on groups.io, on the QRP Tech group, on the QRP Labs group, and I'm sure on Facebook and other places where I've been helped out to make this project successful. So I am calling it a success at this point, although it is not complete. Anyway, thanks for watching, and 73, we'll see you next time.